Hi there YouTube friends, welcome back to another episode of Auntie's Kitchen, simple and delicious food cooked and prepared in South Korea with South Korean ingredients. If you're new to this channel, hi, Annie SEO, welcome to all of the new subscribers this week. I hope you're enjoying looking through the recipes and thank you for joining me on this journey. If you haven't had a chance yet, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell so that you are notified when I post other delicious recipes. Now, today I'm going to be showing you an effortless no-knead artisan bread recipe. And this is a simple and delicious bread which is easy to cook in South Korea. It's crusty and very rustic on the outside, and inside it is soft and just marvelous. It only has 4 ingredients: flour, salt, yeast, and water. And today I'm also going to be showing you 3 different ways so that you can choose the best way for you to cook this bread. The first thing I'm going to be showing you is the different rise times: a fast rise of 3 hours, and then a slow rise between 18 and 24 hours. And then I'm going to be showing you the type of dish that you use in the oven. I'm going to be using a very heavy cast iron dish, otherwise known as a Dutch oven. And I'm also going to be using a porcelain dish with a lid, and I will show you the difference in the bread when using these. The third thing I'm going to be showing you today is the temperature of the oven. One of my ovens is 230 maximum temperature, my other oven 220. Please stick around to the end of the video so that you can collect all of the information that I'm going to show you today, and then you can choose which is the best way for you to make bread depending on the amount of time that you have available, the equipment that you have to cook your bread, and your oven temperature. Now, the original recipe was created by a gentleman called Jim Lahey. I hope I pronounced his name right. And he was from the Sullivan Street Bakery in Manhattan. His recipe was first posted in the New York Times in 2006, and since then has really revolutionized bread making. And what's wonderful about this recipe is there is no kneading, and actually the long proofing time allows nature to do the kneading for you in the bread. So let me show you an effortless way of making no-knead artisan bread that's simple and delicious. The first thing I do is measure out my flour, and for my regular viewers you'll notice that I'm using a different flour today, and I'm trying this out. I got it from Costco. I then measure out some salt and some yeast. As I've mentioned before, hot water kills yeast, so ideally you want to use lukewarm water. I don't use the thermometer. I just mix some hot water from my kettle and some filtered water together. I test it, and if it doesn't feel too hot, I use it. Add your water to your dough and then mix it up. It really is an effortless dough to prepare. Notice I will scrape the sides to make sure there is no flour left on the side, and then it is finished. This is the first of 3 doughs that I'll be showing you today. This is my fast rise dough. It only needs 3 to 4 hours to rise. I cover it with cling film and then place it in a warm area in my apartment. I get on with preparing my second dough in exactly the same way as the first. You will notice with this dough, I mix the dry ingredients together before adding the water. I should have done this with the first dough, but I missed this step out. You may have noticed that I used a flour from Homeplus at the beginning of this dough, but it did not make any difference because it is the same as the one from Costco. This really is a flexible recipe. As usual, all of the measurements and instructions for this recipe can be found in the description below. You want to leave your dough for about 3 hours or until it has doubled in size. My first dough has had about 3 to 4 hours to rest, and you can see it is looking great. The dough has doubled in size, and I know it's ready because of all the bubbles on top. I place some flour on the board, and you will notice it's a very shaggy and sticky dough. Using my plastic scraper, I remove the dough from the bowl. If you don't have a plastic bread scraper, then just use a spatula. I love making this dough because it does all the work for me. I sprinkle some flour on top, and then using the plastic scraper I fold the dough into itself into the middle. As soon as I have done all sides, I flip the dough over and shape it into a ball. I use the side of my palm to tuck the dough underneath itself, and then it is ready. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, any imperfections add to its character. I give my dough a quick cut and place it into a bowl on some baking paper. I cover for 30 minutes to rest while I heat up my oven. You want to place whatever oven dish you are using into the oven at the same time so it also can get very hot. While my oven is reaching temperature, I get on with preparing the second dough in exactly the same way as the first dough. Folding the sides into the middle, I then turn the dough over, shape it with the sides of my palm, cut it, place it into a bowl, and allow that also to rest for 30 minutes. Using the baking paper, I carefully lift my dough into the Dutch oven. I put the lid on and let this cook for 30 minutes. I repeat with my second dough, but with a porcelain oven-proof dish. Please be careful with your preheated oven dishes as they will be very hot. After 30 minutes, I remove the lid and paper and place it back into the oven for about 10 minutes until golden brown. After 10 minutes, I'm happy with the colour. I remove it from the oven and place it onto my cooling rack. After 30 minutes, I take my second dough out of the oven, I remove the lid and the paper, and I put it back in the oven for another 10 to 15 minutes. My second dough is finished. I'm happy with the colour. I take it out of the oven and put it onto the cooling rack and allow this now to cool. So here we have a quick summary of the two no-knead breads we just cooked. Both were fast rise between 3 and 4 hours. There is a slight difference in oven temperature, but I think you will agree both look delicious. Most importantly, let's take a look inside. It's best once they come out of the oven to let them cool down for about an hour. It's difficult to resist the fresh smell of warm bread in the apartment, but it's worth the wait as there's nothing more satisfying than eating home-cooked bread, soft in the middle and crunchy on the outside. A quick rise bread is great if you have no time, but you will sacrifice in both flavour and texture. Because the dough has had less time to ferment, you will have a less developed bread inside. So now let me quickly show you the difference of a dough that has had between 18 and 20 hours to rest. I follow the exact same procedure as the other fast rise doughs, but this dough has had between 18 and 20 hours to rest, so I can already feel a difference in the texture of the dough because it has had a slower, longer fermentation process. My oven is preheating at the highest temperature 230 and my Dutch oven is inside the oven heating up. After 30 minutes of resting, I remove my Dutch oven from the oven and I place my dough inside. I place the lid back on and into the oven to cook for 30 minutes. I remove the lid and get it back into the oven. A good sign that your bread is cooked is if you turn it upside down and tap the bottom, it should sound hollow. It looks great on the outside, but let's cut it open and take a look inside and have a taste. When I look inside, I can see the crumb is a lot more developed, and there is also a big difference in the taste and texture when eating the bread compared with the fast rise bread. Overall, it had a much better taste and texture. So depending on how much time, which oven dish you have, and your maximum oven temperature, you can now choose and decide which way you would like to cook this bread. Thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed seeing how to make this effortless, no-knead artisan bread, and now go and make and enjoy it with family and friends. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, have a great week. God bless. Chop och hamnada.